Welcome back to Vintage Super League. I am joined by my friend and teammate David Williams. Dave, I hope this Grand Prix in Providence goes better for us because we do not have a lot of wins combined tonight.
We have 1 win and 3 losses.
Yeah, not good. The great one just got me. Yep.
We will finish 2 and 4.
Yeah, maybe. Assuming that we finish our last match. But the great one got both of us. He got me with a Yawgmoth's Will. I stopped the first Tinker, but then he got me again. So Bob is 2-0 with his deck that he was complaining about.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had a real good start in the VSL like myself. We were both talking about how we always just get destroyed every week, and looks like he shook that. Even the worst he'll do is 2-1. So congrats to Bob, and awesome to see the newcomer Erin at 1-1. I'm going to be pulling for her to smoke Bob and 2-1 the pod. I guess it's not pod, but
yeah. Bob's wife and kids are pulling for Erin here. The world is 100% united at this point behind Erin to win this match.
He's in it. He's in it no matter whether he wins or loses. So I think they're still hoping he wins. You know.
Right. What do you think about this matchup? Obviously, against my deck, I had all the basic islands and some removal spells. The Blood Moons weren't so effective against your deck. No basics, and obviously she had pretty good draws against what you had going on. Bob's deck, I think somewhere in the middle, I would say, is a pretty close, interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think if Bob has an explosive draw with like a Force of Will for an early threat, then he can. I think it shouldn't be a problem for him. I mean, the creatures don't really matter because he has ways to, like me and you have to win through creatures and fight wars. Like he can get beat up by a creature and still just win.
2 basic islands too, I think, in Bob's deck. That's huge. Obviously, it's Erin doesn't have any strip mine or effects of that nature, so that once you get that basic island out, that's pretty effective to make mana. And obviously, being a blue deck, Bob can do some pretty filthy stuff with it.
Yeah. I mean, she's going to need quick lock pieces and Bob to kind of have slow draws, I think, to win the match. I mean, I think Bob's a big favorite. I don't want to say that because whoever is the big favorite seems to never win, according to how things play out.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel really good about it for Bob. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of spot removal on the main deck, right? But Tinker Blightsteel is really hard to deal with.
Yeah, looks like one of the cards that could be really interesting, depending on how Bob's draw lines up, is actually Null Rod. We saw Null Rod be pretty ineffective against both your deck and mine. We just have a couple incidental Power 9 pieces, but Bob's deck, between Soul Ring and Mana Crypt, and he's obviously got the Valky combo, the full collection of Moxen and Sensei's Divining Top. Null Rod could really be painful for some of Bob's draws. So interesting subplot there. Less of an impact, but could still, again, against some of Bob's draws, be pretty effective. Although obviously knowing it's coming, he can fetch for islands. So
exactly. So sounds like the players are ready. So let's see who wins this battle of Null Rod versus artifacts.
So looks like both players have pretty reasonable draws. Erin's draw obviously very explosive with the Black Lotus and the ability to play a turn 1 Chandra and Null Rod. Although Mindbreak Trap might put a crimp in those plans.
Yeah, it's weird because Mindbreak Trap's not usually a good card in this matchup. Has Bob already kept or no? But with a Black Lotus trying to play 2 threats, that whole, the way it plays out, it does end up getting something, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, but, that Chandra is likely to resolve unless Bob's able to find a Force of Will with Brainstorm. Wow, interesting. Now Erin has some other options as well. Could try to resolve Blood Moon turn 1 instead of Null Rod.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now with no artifacts dropped, Null Rod's probably not as important to her. If he had some, he probably would have played him. He's not likely holding him. I mean, he could, but not likely. So I don't think that's a priority. So if anything, it's funny. If she baits with Null Rod, he actually has no counter for it, but then it sets up Mindbreak Trap for the Blood Moon, but it looks like she's just going to go for the Chandra, which is incredible. He doesn't really have a way to remove it. He's just going to have to win through it, but it's going to be giving her such a mana or card advantage.
Yeah, and he's going to just go Brainstorm right now and try to find Force of Will. So it's so painful looking at Bob's 3 dual lands in hand and knowing he has to lead with the fetch land to find basic island against the Blood Moon deck. You know, when you're brainstorming, you treasure those fetch lands to be able to shuffle cards back in. But Bob understanding, of course, that getting a basic land out trumps that by far.
Yeah, I mean, the brutal part here is her third spell is, I guess he has 2 mana drains. He doesn't really care about Null Rod. I guess he might as well Mindbreak Trap it while he can because it's not going to do much.
Oh, totally.
Now he's got 2 mana drains up for her next 2 spells, but Chandra's going to just bury him in card advantage or even mana advantage if she needs to cast those cards.
Yep. And Bob obviously, we see has Yawgmoth's Will, but to what end? Obviously with
bunch of counter spells, not exciting.
Yeah, just a brainstorm in terms of action. So he may be in a situation where, due to Aaron's really powerful start, he's forced to mana drain really the first big mana spell that Aaron plays and just blind Yawgmoth's Will with a bunch of mana, leading with Brainstorm to see if he could just do something, since obviously the longer the game goes, the more that Aaron's advantage is going to be compounded.
Yeah, Bob really wants to draw something he can use this mana drain man for, like a Jace would just be fantastic.
Yeah, although Chandra doesn't match up that badly with Jace. It's doesn't take too much for Chandra to fight through a Jace, and all the meanwhile, right? That ultimate does have an impact in the game. So,
what is her ultimate again?
So it's -7. You get an emblem whenever you cast a spell. Deal 5 damage to target creature or player. So obviously we see Aaron with 2 lands in play, 2 lands in hand, 1 kind of expensive spell. In Vintage, the chances that she's going to be able to use the emblem to great effect, not great, but it could definitely come up.
Well, I mean, Bob's at 17, so we're only talking 4 spells. And once she does it, because she's gaining 2 loyalty, it'll still stick around. So the following turn, she can plus it, play the spell. So, I mean, it does put Bob in a pretty quick clock. Like, he's got to win really fast if she gets that emblem. He's got about 3 turns, maybe 2.
Yeah, and we see, Bob is going for that play we talked about earlier, just a real down and dirty Yawgmoth's Will here.
Yawgmoth's for Brainstorm. I mean, when you do, Brainstorm, you get to maybe play some of those cards with that colorless mana. I don't know what he could find here, but Brainstorm's a good card. He does have a fetch, so he can shuffle in like Mindbreak Trap or these extraneous lands.
Okay, so Ponder, a Dak Faden, Force of Will. Definitely some action there for Bob.
Yeah, I mean, Force of Will is going to be good. Ponder is nice. Dak is just going to be digging for now. I mean, it doesn't live too long against Chandra.
Mm-hmm.
I see him putting back Mindbreak Trap and probably the 5th land.
Yep. And now he gets to shuffle those away with the Scalding Tarn and ponder into fresh new cards.
I mean, it's brutal because his mana drain is down, so he does have Force of Will for 1 threat, but still, that's going to cost one of the cards he's getting. It's just a brutal spot, but he doesn't really have a choice.
Yeah, but the good news for him is that both of his paths to victory, tinkering for Colossus or assembling Vault Key, they work against what's going on right now. There's no Null Rod out. There's nothing that Aaron can do to stop either of those plans. So, Bob's thinking between this Ponder and this Dak Fade, and maybe a symbol of that combo.
Ooh, that's the truth.
That's nice.
That's a good one to find.
Aaron would love to be able to commit to any threat on the board here and force Bob to use a Force of Will.
So, City of Traders.
Okay, let's see what she finds with Chandra.
You don't have to play the card right away, right?
No, you can play it that turn.
So I'm curious as to why. I guess she wanted to play a land anyway. Why she played the land?
Actually, no, I think you may have to play it right away. I correct myself on that.
And then she needed the mana to be able to play it. I was thinking you could play a land after you see what it is.
Right.
So might not. I guess she had the City of Traders in play anyway, so she wants to play a mountain no matter what. And Rich Shake says you do have to play the card right away.
I think that is correct.
I know you can't play lands off of it, but I was just saying she might have wanted to decide before she sacrificed her City of Traders, but she wanted to make sure she had 4 mana available.
So Bob is going to be able to Echoing Truth the Chandra and then use Mana Drain to stop it when it comes back down. Has the Dak Faden to start cycling through his deck, but still is lacking that oomph, right? The ancestral or the planeswalker like Jace that's going to allow him to pull way ahead.
He doesn't have to Mana Drain it, right? Like, how can she even cast it? He can just play Dak here.
Right.
I totally would have just played Dak here and got, I guess you don't really want to plus it because both your cards are so important.
Yeah. And just to put the shields down doesn't. Yeah, I would just leave the shield
down. He did have a Force of Will, and I guess what 3 mana cards matter. Like, he doesn't really care about a Blood Moon here because he still casts Dak and it just shuts off black. I think he should have played the Dak, but
Rabble Master pretty good right now.
What's that?
A Rabble Master would have been pretty good in that situation.
Yeah.
So now he may want to put the shields down. Oh, nope. Still going to keep him up, playing very conservatively.
Yeah, I like to take a little risk at sometimes, but I guess when you got the game kind of this far in control, there's no need to anymore.
And by put the shields down, I meant that Bob had the option of putting back Mana Drain instead of Mana Crypt, and then playing Jace and Jacing and trying to find another blue card with Force of Will. Bob would play probably better. So this will be an interesting turn to see how he uses the Mana Drain mana. Obviously, he's going to lead with Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah.
Probably just Brainstorm to start with. Oh, he's actually lead with Dak Faden. I guess that gets him deeper into his deck. I don't know if you want to discard Dak Faden here. Because you might need the blue card for Force of Will, right, after you play this Jace.
So what are you going to discard then?
I would discard Key Strand, yeah.
Bob agrees.
He's sitting next to me right here as well.
No, your room's not yellow enough. He's in some yellow hotel.
All right. So here's the Brainstorm from Jace. Any player been on the other side of this? Seeing nothing.
2 very good cards.
Yeah, Dig Through Time, beautiful here.
So now he can put back Land and Notion Thief. He has the blue card for Force of Will and the Dig Through Time up.
Right, and it's important to note now that with Bob having cast his Yawgmoth's Will and discarded his Voltaic Key to Dak Faden, that Vault Key is no longer an option that's available to him in this game. He doesn't have any way to get that key back. So his ways to win are going to be through either Jace Ultimate or more likely putting a Blightsteel Colossus on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, almost certainly he's going to dig through time, find Tinker, and win the game. Because he's got those 7 cards to look through, plus his draw phase, plus his DAT cards, plus his Jace cards.
Yep.
Shouldn't have any trouble finding D-Tutor or the Tinker.
Right. And Aaron's deck, like most people's deck, is not set up to deal with 11/11, Indestructible, Trample, Infect.
Yeah, that's how it kills you, poison.
Actually, it frequently kills you due to right-click concede. I'd say it infrequently kills due to poison.
That's how it got me.
That's how we get Reed Duke.
So Bob's digging. And if Bob wins this, he joins Reed as the only 3-0. If he loses, there will be no other 3-0s other than Reed Duke. Imagine that.
Wow.
Wow. Bob got a Notion Thief and a Mana Drain.
Notion Thief not at its best in this matchup.
Yeah, but right now with the DAC out, he does get to just him to Torok her hand, but I think you're going to go ahead and go for he could detutor, but if he detutor and then cast Tinker, the shields are down. But I don't really know what the hell they can do.
I don't think anything can go wrong.
Not with Black Lotus anymore. You can leave up Mana Drain.
Oh, there you go.
But he can also just play Notion Thief, empty your hand, leaving Mana Drain up, and then do it next turn.
Right.
Like Misstep doesn't have any targets in her deck, so you can put that back. Yeah, you put the Black Lotus back. So now he can just play the Notion Thief. He's going to get the 2 cards he put back in his hand, which will allow him to empty your hand, have Mana Drain up for any top decks, untap, detutor for Tinker, and then pass the turn again, probably with another counter up, and win the game. I believe this is what Rich J would call deterministic.
Deterministic, yeah.
It's a wrap. Our games were deterministic from turn 1 and 2. Felt it would be a poor sport to just concede right away.
Yeah.
I mean, I already got flack for conceding against Aaron that game where I could have drawn Lotus and then could have cast it. I mean, it's just like, come on, man. I'm over it.
No, when Bob and I were commentating on your match, a good chunk of it was, okay, so if Dave draws Ancestral into 2 Moxes.
Yeah. You know why I concede though? I don't want to ruin and use my 0.1% on this match.
Right. Save it.
Save that. I might just run it out and be like, oh no.
So I actually don't know the way the luck officially works. Can you bank your 0.1%? Or
Oh yeah.
So you don't that it's not that was your 0.1% and you missed it. You bank that and you save it for the next time.
Just saving it. I'm making sure I don't waste it right there. Saving it for this weekend.
Everyone has, sort of things that they study. I try to find a way to play 15 creatures in Vintage. Bob studies how to flip Chaos Orbs. It seems like, luck is something that you've done a lot of focus and study on during your...
Oh, yeah. I'm a professional at it. I mean, I've failed at our Day 2 sealed decks, but I'm going to make sure that we fix that this time. We've had some bad ones recently, but not anymore.
Yep. And the beauty of adding Erin to the VSL is we're going to find out what her focus is. Certainly, I've heard that she's a dredge aficionado, loving this choice of the Blood Moon deck, and interested to see how the next 2 games go for her here.
That's good for me. Go basics for the first time ever in VSL, and up against the all Blood Moon deck. And TGO does it. Doesn't even need to get the creature out. She just succumbs to Blightsteel. She just says, you know what? Full hand, DAC, Notion Deep, I'm over it.
Yep. So Bob can take out those red elemental blasts and mental missteps, that's for sure.
Yeah, mental misstep. It's funny, I was sideboarding, and we had the deck list for my match, so I had her list up, and I was trying to figure out what to cut, and then I started looking, I'm like, oh wait, there was literally no targets deck inside for these mental missteps. And then I forgot to cut the Flusterstorm, and I drew it, and then I realized she's got spells, so Flusterstorm is not so bad. Fiery Confluence is okay.
Yep. Thoughtseize strikes me as pretty good here.
Yeah, I like Thoughtseize. When someone's trying to kind of do an all-in turn 1 or turn 2 strategy, Thoughtseize is pretty sweet. I mean, turn 1 obviously is not going to work because he's on the draw, but can stop like a turn 2 land, Ancient Tomb, Trinisphere, Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon type play.
So we see Aaron bringing the Sudden Shocks in and taking, looks like, I'm not sure what out, some Chandras. I'm not sure about that. What do you think about Sudden Shock in this matchup? It doesn't appeal to me.
Doesn't seem too great for me. Chandra seems really good just because it's so hard for Bob to remove once it's on the board. Sudden Shock, yeah, I can kill a loose Planeswalker, but I'm not a big fan of it. And I like Chandra in this matchup. It looks like she also brought in the Hazarets, which I think just are a little too slow in this matchup.
Do you ever just bring in one Leyline?
Miser's Leyline?
Yeah, just to complete, if you draw it.
I had a dead card that was just worse than the Miser's Leyline, yeah, but... And as Bob Mulligator's 1 card off the screen.
If I know my opponent has Yawgmoth's Will, Dig, and Treasure Cruise, sometimes and it's a bad matchup, I'll just bring it in and just hope to get lucky.
Pretty close to a Tinker here.
Aaron's hand very slow.
Yeah, her hand's pretty slow, which is going to allow Bob to develop if he can get past that null rod. He does have mana drain, which it's kind of funny. He actually will have to use his Lotus, but then that really stunts his mana, his growth. I mean, he's all in on top if he does that.
Mm.
Like, I don't know about keeping this if I'm her. You've got no acceleration, and I think without acceleration, you just... Oh, Bob's hand was 7. You just, God, I don't know about her hand without any acceleration. Like, if this no rod gets countered, you're just on the 3 drops, which not usually fast enough against Bob's deck.
Well, if Bob had drawn a Mox, he could just turn 1 Tinker for Blightsteel, right?
Yep.
Which is how he got me. Now he has an interesting decision. Do you want to play Lotus, just leave the shields up with mana drain? Or do you want to get that Divining Top out there?
Yeah, our score on the screen is wrong. Bob won the first game, so disregard the 0-1 Bob score. I think I get the Lotus out just because I want to be able to mana drain just in case. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you do if she plays a null rod, right? You have to stop a null rod. Your Lotus is just basically dead if that happens anyways.
Right. I guess my question actually was do you want to play Sensei's Divining Top, or do you want to leave open Vampiric Tutor here? He drew a fetch land.
I think I'm playing Sensei's Divining Top.
Set up, yeah, Academy?
Yeah. Lotus, Academy, Divining Top. She has no wastelands. That's fine. I mean, he can drop it next turn, but
so yeah, 2 mana
have black mana and still have my Academy in play, because now he can't play a black lands and have Academy making 2 mana. So I'm not really sure about that land drop from Bob. Maybe he forgot she doesn't have any wastelands.
Yeah. The funny thing here is that if Bob had played Scalding Tarn Underground, he would have been able to vamp on upkeep for Tinker and then use the 2 mana from Null Rod to Tinker for Colossus, but that would have been an insane play. So
yeah, but I mean, I like either land drop better than Island, I'll be honest.
I'm sorry, he still can. He can just vamp for Tinker and then use the top. Oh no, yeah, but then needs a Mox.
Yeah, because he didn't play the Academy turn 1, so he can't tap that also. Like, yeah, I really like either other land over Island for the first turn. I think he was just probably worried about Wasteland or Strip Mine without thinking she doesn't have it.
Okay, how cool
it seems like a natural fit. What's that?
How cool is Vintage, the intricacies of just like playing the land on turn 1 and like how, all Aaron's done is play 2 mountains and a Null Rod. Bob's had 70 decisions so far for what he could be doing. It's really kind of a cool sequence of things that could happen. Do you imagine that Bob is smiling just like his picture from down there behind the computer?
I'm guessing Bob's dozing off. Bob, I've never seen a man fall asleep in the middle of a match more than Bob. Sky is always working, always gaming, father of 4. Mm-hmm. He's always tired when I see him. He's dozing off playing Magic or Hearthstone. Like when we room together, he's always playing a game and falling asleep. Online poker, passing out, middle of hands. But no, he's trucking along. I think he sees the line. I mean, like I said, this would have been a much easier path if he just played either of the lands turn 1.
What do you just DT for Ancestral here? What do you do?
Yeah, I like that line.
Hard for that to go really wrong. I'm sure that there's a perfect play here. There always is, but
he's got 4 mana. Dak can't be played. There's no reason to play Vamp Tutor, top it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just DT. And then what do you leave over? Might as well just get Ancestral. He's going to use one. I guess since you have that mana left over anyway, he's going to go ahead and use it. So one of the Mike in the chat says he could DT for Ancestral, or is not the best. He could DT for Ruby, and then play the Dak, and then next turn upkeep Vamp for Tinker. So, and Ephro agrees that is best, and we all know Ephro is a master.
Yeah, the one thing I like more about DTing for Ancestral is it maximizes the chances that you draw into Force of Will and keep the shields up for a turn. But
so it looks like he got the Force of Will the hard way, or the easy way, however you want to look at it. And he went with Ancestral. So, again, to quote Matt, no wrong way to eat this Reese's, I think. You know, I mean, obviously the Ruby play sounds better, but it's not something you see right away. I didn't see it. I still think his position is fine. He does no longer have any artifacts for Tinker, so maybe not. I mean, his hand is kind of stains after he Force of Wills. He's just got nothing.
Well, his hand is one card, right? His hand is Yawgmoth's Will. That's the plan in this game, I think.
Yeah, he's got Lotus and D-Tutor and Ancestral in his graveyard. So
yeah.
I don't know if I counter this. Like, how many turns does it take to kill you? Like 4?
Yes, it's 3 or 4, yeah, something like that.
I guess it does mess up the Colossus plan, though. Not really.
No, it doesn't.
If it takes you a while to get the Colossus plan, it could mess you up. So Bob didn't counter it either.
Which is interesting. Now, I mean, now the clock is on, but it looks like Bob's going to be able to draw, play land, say go, and then Vampiric for Yawgwill in the next turn.
So it says other goblins have haste, right? So if she plays the other one, then that one has haste. So next turn she'll be able to attack for 7?
No, so the other goblin creatures must attack, but I think only tokens themselves have haste.
Yeah, you're right. So that one won't be able to attack, but she'll have 3 tokens. She'll be able to attack for 5.
Well, the Goblin Rabbit Master will have 5 power as well, plus the 3, so it'll be 8 coming in next turn. If the other Rabbit Master...
Forgot about that one.
Bob with the worst draw in the deck there.
Oh, man. He does have Dak to put it right back in there.
Mm.
Go ahead and discard it. Luckily, it's not no Eldrazi and kills his Yawgmoth's Will plan.
Yeah. He doesn't need that much more. He just needs stuff like that. Cheap artifacts so that Academy makes enough mana.
Yeah, that's a busty draw. He doesn't have a blue card, so the shields are down. So something like a Null Rod or a Blood Moon or Magus are off the top. It could really mess up his plans for sure.
Mm-hmm. No black mana if Aaron's able to find something like that. Null Rod would be
backbreaking.
Backbreaking for sure.
Here we go. Nope, just another double land. So just some damage.
Yep. Well, Aaron's going to be able to actually kill Dak this turn and set up lethal for next turn. Right, because the Rabble Master comes at the Dak for 5, 3 comes into Bob, putting the 15, and, I mean, Aaron's going to have way more than 15 next turn.
Yeah, 5 tokens plus the 2 Rabble Masters.
Right.
Plus the bonus on the Rabble Masters.
Plus a Sin Prodder coming down as well. So, yeah, I think you can safely kill Dak here and still feel like you have him dead next turn.
He needs a Toxic Deluge like I have in my deck. Imagine right now if he Deluge when he untapped.
Yeah.
Hot. Just be for 2. Get that Sin Prodder 2.
Well, this is going to be a will turn, right? So we'll see what Bob can do with 6, 8 mana in a will.
We'll probably just draw a Time Walk here.
Well, that's the thing. If he draws Time Walk, it's he's in good shape. This will be interesting, fascinating turn here. I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going to take it in. My body is ready.
Mike, Efro in the chat, what do you guys got?
I'm just taking it in. Nope. All right, let's think of some lines because that's not going to cut it.
Well, we have to vamp for Yogwill, right?
And then where do you get black? If you want to play Academy, but you also want to play Scalding Tarn.
Oh, right. So we don't have as much mana as I thought.
Oh. You might want to check that top out. Spin that top. Look at that. Efro came up with the same line. Spin the top.
Ideally, we end the turn with the Blightsteel Colossus in play and take the next turn. But I don't know if we have the mana for that.
I mean, worst case scenario, you can always just vamp tutor for a friggin' Time Walk and draw it off the top and cast it. So that can help him get another land into play, but then his vamp tutor's gone.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a lot of different things closing in on Bob. I think we can eliminate as one of the possibilities trying to survive Aaron's next turn without killing all of her creatures, right? Either you cast
Echoing Truth works.
Echoing Truth.
Bounce those Rabble Masters.
Just seeing, does that actually work or not? Yeah, you can do it inside combat. Yeah. So.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
So we have spin the top, and if you find Time Walk, Mox Jet, Voltaic Key, or Time Bolt, then you can vamp tutor for the other piece. Like draw it with the key with the top, and then vamp tutor for the other piece. So I think he needs to top now on his upkeep because he needs to get that card and the card off the vamp tutor, which he has to use his draw phase for one.
Right. I actually I've been kind of had the blinders on tinkering for Colossus and then casting Time Walk, but none of the plans that lead to that line he has the mana for, I don't think. So realistically, assembling Vault Key is his best path to victory.
Yeah, he's got a top upkeep for sure. I love it. I love it. The chat. Tutor for Yogwill, Tolarian, Lotus, Dark Demonic Tutor. He doesn't have 2 black mana.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm with you guys.
He can't play the Academy.
If we were playing fast mana, that would work.
I mean, what if he tutors for Yogwill, plays the land, cast it, cast Black Lotus out of the yard? Not going to make enough mana. So it looks like he topped in his upkeep. He saw the line. I'm seeing Blightsteel, Mox Pearl, Treasure Cruise. Don't think you want any of these.
No, I think drawing any of those is too bad here, because
actually Mox Pearl lets you detutor. I mean, lets you Yogwill, and then play Lotus. Nope. Yeah, he could do that. Detutor, Time Walk. So he could play Mox Pearl, vamp tutor for Yogwill, draw it, cast it with his Scalding Tarn, play Lotus, then he has 4 mana, sack the Lotus. Oh no, because he needs black and blue. The Mox makes white. Not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. So we drew the cruise. We're going to go on a big gold boat.
So the plan here is, I think, vamp for one of the pieces and hope between Sensei's Divining Top and Treasure Cruise to find the other. Is that the plan?
So it looks like he needs to tutor for Time Walk and Treasure Cruise into it, and then, or he needs to play Time Walk here, I believe. What does that one do?
I have no idea. I assume it kills everything. It's a red.
No, yeah, it does. It's like Earthquake that if you cast it for enough, I think it makes an 8/8.
Let's do that. Definitely make an 8/8.
Subterranean Tremors for 2. Holy cow. We're in business.
I've never seen that before in my life.
I forgot that was in the deck. Oh, when Mike said 2 different trimmers, I thought he meant the card trimmer, 1 damage to all for like 1 red as a joke.
That'd be fine. We could have had Tremor.
So when I said he needed a Toxic Deluge, he had it in his deck, just one that doesn't cost life, and that was the answer all along.
See, now, me not knowing the card, that's one thing. I kind of blame Bob for that. If I had known he'd had a Pyroclasm, I would have done that for sure.
Oh, I said, get Toxic Deluge. I'm like, he needs a Deluge in his deck. You should have told me he has one, and it doesn't even cost 2 life. Yeah, it's funny. Someone pointed out this whole situation is all from playing Island Turn 1 over Tarn or Academy. If he played either of the other 2 lands, he would have won this game already.
Wow. Finds a blue card for Force of Will. I really empathize with Erin here because she's been sitting there with just a million creatures in play, watching Bob kind of spin the top and do his thing, and ended up with nothing in play.
Yeah.
I think Bob can let this resolve.
Yeah, he's got a Braid in his hand. Cast Jace, a Braid. He's good. So it's going to Renown. And now it's what, a Pyrostatic Pillar, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even, just play a regular land, doesn't take any more damage if he doesn't want to. Save that sack land and shuffle with Jace. Yeah. Pretty interesting top before killing the guy, but
yeah.
Okay. Always nice to spot your opponent a couple damage sometimes. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I like to spot whatever I can.
Now is he going to play the Volcanic? Okay, here goes the Abrade. Weird sequencing. That's all right. I don't mind it.
I prefer it.
Here comes Jason. Now I might actually +2 this bad boy. Maybe not. 3 cards to find a blue card, but if you +2 it, it's just going to have 2 threats in a row. He found a blue card, so it's okay, but there could be an argument for +2ing.
Yeah. Now it's trouble for Aaron as the shields are up, and no matter what, Bob's going to get to untap with a bunch of mana, a top, and a Jace. Tough situation here.
I wish we could look at the next card on her deck to see what happened if he plussed it. Because now he just has to get rid of his dig. He's basically, he does have an active Jace and a top, so he's still in great shape, but I would have loved a Fate Seal here.
It would have been more fun. Give her 1 draw.
All right, let's see what he comes up with. Just looking for a Tinker or Volt Key.
Or Will is still good.
Now, I would like to Brainstorm first, because then you put back 2 and then you see 1 more card down. Now you're just looking at the 3 cards you're about to Brainstorm into. But I guess he's got DI mana as the case.
Yeah, mana's not an issue, so he's thinking maybe I could do both.
But it doesn't matter. He's going to Brainstorm, so why look at them? You're about to Brainstorm, no matter what. Right? Like, he's not Fate Sealing.
The only thing is if you were going to top into something that shuffled your deck, that's the only thing I can...
Yeah, but no, he just incinerated 1 mana. That's okay, though. It's all right. Loose play.
I would have butchered this game if I were Bob, I'm sure. So,
what happened to that Scalding Tarn? He popped it. Okay, it was.
Yeah, look at the fresh cards from the top here.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He can just hardcast Blightsteel here with the Soul Ring in play.
Do you think that Sensei's Divining Top is the worst design card in the history of Magic? I can't even think of a second. It's so by far the worst design card in the history of Magic that I think that.
Probably Forest.
What?
Just kidding. I have no idea. I can't even think straight. There's so many cards in Magic.
Set your stops. You gotta set your stops here with Rabble Master.
Yeah, let's see if Bob knows the tech to avoid a 1/1 hitting the board. Oh yeah, Bob's got it. Boom.
And Planeswalkers, which have been around for some time now in Magic, as we see gain cascading and self-reinforcing advantages. So every turn, Bob is just pulling further and further ahead here.
Ephro's pick for worst card design is Step Links, by the way.
I mean, Ephro is
a direct shot, Paul. That's a direct shot.
Often aggressively wrong, but this is definitely one of the most egregious situations that I've seen here.
Strip Mine could be a really bad card too.
Dancer, yeah, Strip Mine.
I mean, what were they thinking when they made that? Like, oh, it's equal. You both lose the land. Like, that's totally just not a fair card. Mental Misstep. Yeah, any cards with Phyrexian mana definitely can go on this list. I mean, that's just like, come on.
Yeah, but see, when I think about cards like Mental Misstep or other major mistakes like Step Links, they just pale in comparison to Sensei's Divining Top and the excruciating phenomenon of manipulating the cards, shuffling your deck, manipulating the cards, watching your opponent sit there and just spin the top over and over again.
I kind of like just run the Time Walk, Snapcaster, Time Walk, take 3 in a row, tic-tac-toe. Nothing sweeter than a repeater.
Could also Snapcaster for Snapcaster DT will. I mean, there's whatever. This is you seen Gladiator?
Years ago.
Yeah. There's a time when I can't remember if it's Marcus Aurelius or one of the emperors. He just leaves the battle. He just says, "Send news of our victory." That's it. He doesn't even want to watch the end. Just send news of our victory. We know what's going on. Obviously, we got the Team Limited coming up this weekend. You know enough of those where you can go to the bathroom and grab a soda or whatever because it's all wrapped up.
I am so excited for this weekend. You have no idea.
Oh, I'm pumped up.
I cannot wait. Here comes Yagi.
Yeah, and not to be lost in all this, congrats to Erin for joining the league. Congrats on getting her first win and also playing a cool and innovative, fresh strategy, which I think, having 4 different decks represented here and not just the same old Oath versus Mentor or whatever over and over, certainly made it more fun for me to watch tonight. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if I've had fun tonight. It depends on the next round. If I owe 3, no. But if we're both 1-2, that's all right then. It's a fun night. Everybody 1-2s and Bob 3-0s. I'm okay with that. That's a fine result.
Now, for those of you watching at home, Bob hasn't won the group. The group system is a thing of the past. So Bob will take his 3-0 record, play against another group next week, and that'll be the standing. So he and Reed will be tied atop the leaderboard, and then everyone else will kind of be a muddle beneath them. So
I'm hoping Randy rolls the new groups and it's the exact same 3 groups.
Is that possible?
It's random. I mean, anything is possible when it's random. Okay. That would be sweet. I'd love to run it back with you too.
Yeah.
Bob completes the 3-0. He calls me before it starts, says I'm going to crush him, says his deck is terrible. He's certain to just probably lose them all. He did all the proper moaning.
Yeah.
So I think we need to start moaning about how bad we're going to do this weekend in the Team GP. This format's not good for us. We're going to do so bad. I'm ready.
In poker, they call it the speech, right? You give a nice speech about the moaning and whining.
Put the jacket on and put his freaking bag on it and started to walk off before the tournament started. And look at that, 3-0 for Bob.
Trying to screw the top back on his Nalgene bottle and try to get.
Yep. Well, We got a final match coming up. Pretty early night if we play fast. I hope you play really bad. I hope you throw it. I hope you don't draw land. You get mana screw. A cat comes in and yells at you, and you have to just shut it off. Sorry, guys. I got to concede. Wife's mad at me. Whatever it takes.
All right. Good luck to you.
I hope you don't win. Bad luck.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with match number 6 on Vintage Super League. Don't go anywhere.